Hey everybody, in this episode of the GH Report, Carly has a baby, Lulu learns a secret, and boy, oh boy, can Sasha not keep her stuff together. We're going to break it all down next.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now,
it's the GH Report on a Sunday afternoon. We're gonna go snooping around Windermere and find crazy paintings of Helena Cassadine. Hey everybody, welcome to the GH Report, breaking down all the latest shenanigans happening in Port Charles. I am Frank Moran. Usually Carla Renata would be right next to me, jumping in at this moment, but you know what? She is such a busy person. She's building that burgeoning media empire that I talk about every single week, and so she's out on assignment, I believe in Chicago. I mean, it's hard to keep track. She's so popular and so busy. So many people want her to do their things for them. So it's going to be just me in studio, but you know what? I have a feeling somewhere along the line for the episode, we're probably going to get a phone call from Carla chiming in to break everything down. So until then, you're just going to have to sadly put up with me talking about Port Charles. But as always, folks, like us on Facebook, give us those 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel. The chat is up and running. Usually Carla would do a roll call right now, but just know that we appreciate every single one of you that is currently in the chat. And feel free to comment on anything that we're talking about or anything that's going on in GH that you just want to get off your chest. Perfect time to do it. But if you're watching after we stream live, feel free to comment down below. So we'll I'll start breaking down the news of the week here, or the show, and then Carly calls in. You know, let's hear what she has to think. But I guess the first big thing is we finally get to have Carly and Sonny. They have their baby, and I feel like it's always soaps, especially when the soaps ways, where they will set the possibility of something terrible happening to a character or a couple to really milk the drama of the potential consequences that could have on their lives. Oh, look at that. I hear a phone call ringing, at least for me. So that could be Carla Renata calling in just a second. Getting very excited, folks. But anyway, so they set the stakes so that it could be really dire for the characters. And then when the big moment comes to find out, oh my gosh, is the test results, are they going to come back clean? Oh, wait, is this Carla Renata?
It is.
Holy cow, Carla Renata. I was just getting into this, and you couldn't have picked a better time to call. How are you, Carla?
I'm good. How you doing, Frank?
Doing well. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, are you in Chicago?
I am in Chicago.
My goodness.
On assignment to AfterBuzz.
Oh, my goodness. Are you having a great time?
I'm exhausted because I've been traveling most of the day and trying to do some other things while I'm here. But, yeah, I'm excited about what's about to go down. I'm here to do a junket for the Tuesday night NBC lineup of Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD.
Well, I mean, during our time doing the GH Report, I mean, the one thing that I always know, like every time before we start the show or after we wrap the show, you cannot stop talking about how much you love that Tuesday night Chicago block of programming there on NBC. You're always talking about it, so I'm glad you're getting a chance to do this.
I hate you so much right
now. It's I mean, I know you were talking about the possibility of getting, the logos tattooed on you. So,
Hello, Frank. Let me see if I can find the chat room so I can talk to them talking about you.
While you're looking for that, I was just starting to talk about the big news of this week, and that is Carly and Sonny finally having the baby.
I know, and can we just talk about that name? Like, there was all this drama over what the baby's name was going to be, and the best they could come up with was Donna. Like, really, though?
Well, and I know many people that were commenting about Donna, but once they explained it was in honor of the makeup artist that was a beloved member of the GH family that had passed away, that they were naming it after that person, it made more sense. It just So it made more sense to honor a beloved member of the GH family, but it still seemed like a weird name to fit into the Corinthos family. It seemed like Donna. All right.
I was like, really? Michael B is like, yeah, me too. Donna, really? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
like, what's happening?
I know. I mean, I have to admit, as much as I was like, what is his name? I took a step back once I found out it was to honor that person that had passed there, part of the makeup staff, and I was like, all right, that makes sense. Cool. All right, it's a nice little tribute to her.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why they did it, but
Yeah. But as I was just talking to the guests, is that talking to the viewers there, is that what always drives me crazy about storylines like this is when they set up a situation where the most dire consequences are what are dwelled upon. So in this case, the baby has spina bifida. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do to raise a child like this? And then whenever that moment of crisis comes to a head, it usually turns out to be the best possible version of that as the outcome. So in this case, it was very mild, and we did the surgery, and it went great, and the baby's going to be fine. So we just get to hear all this manufactured.
I was kind of glad that the baby was fine, though, because there was all that drama, with Jason telling all the kids, oh, the baby has spina bifida, and them being all dramatic about that. I'm like, he didn't say the baby had cancer. He said the baby had spina bifida. That's very different.
Yeah.
They were killing me. Like, there was so much time spent on that, so that when she finally had the baby and then they sent the baby right into surgery, I'm like, okay, this is going to be cool. That was a cute little baby, though. Wasn't that the cutest baby ever? That was a cute baby.
I'm not, babies are fine. Whatever.
Shut up, Frank. Let me give a shout out to the people in the chat room, because I know you didn't. Lisa Wagner, Joe Costanzo, Dolores Leach, Dulamon, Annie Goen, Kelly Public Cover, Coco Candy 1, Tom Class. I said Michael B. That's my boy, Michael B. He joined me for Kirby Critic all the time.
You can never say Michael B. enough.
Marlon Wallace, Lori Cole, Nikki McCauley, Furious Citizen. Oh, Furious Citizen. I haven't seen your name here before. Welcome. And hello to you, too. And I think that's just about everybody. So now that I've shouted everybody out, let's continue with the conversation.
Oh, I love it. The one thing is that, so Carly goes into labor while Jason's hanging out with her in the kitchen. I tell you, that kitchen set, man, that's probably one of the best new additions to the Port Charles universe. That kitchen is frequently used now for all the big action in the Corinthos house.
Why are you are always clowning that kitchen set? What is up with that?
But I like when they finally get to the hospital and Carly is so concerned, like, I don't know if Sonny's gonna make it. Like, what do you think? What do you think Sonny is? He got a hold of him. He's on his way over. Carly's, I don't know if I can do this without Sonny. Like, relax.
Well, it's like she said when Jason was sitting there with her. But Jason had been there for every one of the births of her children, and there was always some shenanigan with Sonny while he wasn't there. So I think this is probably the first time he's actually been there for a birth.
That's true. Like finally gets to see it in action. But yeah, so they have baby down.
He's too old. He's too old to be a Rolling Stone, so he was finally there this time.
So I feel like it'll be interesting to see now. They've got the new edition, and the person that did not take that very well was Ava. Once she found out there was a new edition, she's like, "Oh, great."
And why are we surprised by that? Ava is just party. She is bitter party of one these days. I need for them to do something different with her, because I'm getting real tired of her being salty Sally every time we see her.
But I also didn't know, like, she goes to the floating rib to get liquored up, but she also brings a stack of letters from Ryan that are bundled up in a rubber band. Like, what was she planning on doing with all those?
Who knows? Knowing Ava, it'd be something stupid as usual. Because the thing about Ava is that Ava, in her mind, in her own reality, thinks that she's doing stuff for the greater good of herself, but then she never ever thinks about the consequences and repercussions of her actions. Like, she always makes excuses for these busted decisions that she makes, and then after it's set into motion, she's like, oh wow, maybe I shouldn't have done that. No, Diva, you shouldn't have done that. What are you thinking? I can't with her. Did you talk about Nell already?
No, haven't talked about Nell at all yet.
Okay, all right. But yeah, I mean, that's all I had to say about Ava. I want them to, I really want them to do something really delicious with her. Like maybe, have her be connected with Cassandra in some type of way, just to give her something to do, because this whining and crying every time she hits the screen is getting real tiresome.
And for much as when Julian was going to be selling Charlie's and moving to New York with Kim, Ava kept on saying, "What are you're leaving? I can't believe you're leaving Port Charles. What am I going to do?" Yet now that everything's blown up with Kim and he's staying in Port Charles, going to be at Charlie's, there's not been one scene of Ava going by to talk with Julian, saying like, "Oh, hey, what's up? Let me be supportive to you." No. So like, cool, Ava, cool. I mean.
Did you talk about Julian and Kim already too?
No, in fact, as you called, I was just getting into the first thing, and that was Carly and Sonny's baby. So everything else is open for grabs.
Okay, so let's just talk about that busted ass visit from Kim to Julian. Tama, I'm sorry. No, you not. You not sorry. Tama, I'm sorry, but I just couldn't help it. Diva, that's not Drew. That is not Drew.
Well, I mean,
like,
it is
Drew. What part of that is not Drew, and that is Franco, Elizabeth's husband, do you not understand? Like, she is cuckoo for Cocoa Puff. I can't with her.
Well, I mean, certainly it's tough. But, I mean, in a sense, it is Drew. I mean, who knows?
It's Drew. Okay, let's be real. It's Drew's memories coming out of Franco's face.
Correct.
Let's be real. It's Drew's memories coming out of Franco's face. It's not really Drew. It's not really Drew.
Yeah.
Drew is dead.
No,
the reality of the situation is Drew is dead, and the memories of Drew, or what Drew remembers of himself, have been implanted into Franco. So there's that. But now we don't know if we're going to get Franco back. Like, we don't know what the situation is right now. So it's kind of like up in limbo. But I'm going to need Kim to pause for the cause and take a step back. Elizabeth is going to punch her in her throat. It's going to be ugly in 2 seconds.
I guess, from Kim, she never, as much as she said she was going to go get help to help deal with her grief. But if you look at her having lost her son, Oscar, and then you've lost Drew, now all you have left is the memories. You find somebody that at least is the embodiment of all the memories that you knew of Drew back before Oscar came into the picture. I mean, I guess you latch onto anything you can if you felt like you've lost everything in your life.
I mean, this is the thing. So when it comes to Kim, I just feel like if Oscar were still alive, I don't think she would be so willingly eager to fall into that false reality. I think she's grieving, and they've already shown that the grief over her son has been more than she can bear. So I think this is just another reality escape for her to not think about losing Oscar. And as long as she is connecting to Drew's memories, then somehow that is keeping her connected to Oscar, because her and Drew shared a son in Oscar. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I can understand that.
So I think that's what's happening with her. And then and what I really liked was the fact that when Terry ran into her in the park, even Terry trying to make some sense out of her, because Terry, even though Terry is Elizabeth's friend, she also had a nice relationship with Kim, especially during Oscar's illness and ultimate demise, right?
Yeah. So
there was a kinship there. So the fact that even Terry is like, homegirl, come on now, hold up, wait a minute. What's happening? Something's happening on my computer. What's going on? Sorry. You turn that volume down. I'm like, all of a sudden some music started playing. I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yes!
Okay.
I thought you were really kind of building up to a powerful moment.
I have no idea why that happened, and I thought I turned the volume down on everything, but clearly I did not. But I feel like Terry was like, once she had that conversation with Kim in the park, she was like, okay, Kim is gone. or she's about to be gone. Let me just go and try to appeal to Drew, Franco, whoever the hell this is. And then he is just as bad as her, because ultimately he turns around and says, we love each other, and what are you going to do about it? I'm like, really, dude? Okay.
I did like
the
scene. True. I did like the scene that that Terry has with Franco, though, or Fru, where she at least relates to knowing what it feels like to be in a body that doesn't feel right. And I was like,
exactly.
Yeah. So that
was a good point. Thank you for that. That was a really good point. And it's just like, I mean, I love the fact that the writers took that opportunity to throw in some reality about being transgender in there. That was actually quite brilliant.
Mm-hmm. But I'm waiting for the next step, and it feels like we're just we're treading water to get Andre Maddox up and around so he can do this memory transfer, or at least attempt it. So I'm waiting for the next step for this to kick in, and I feel like it's just dragging its heels on this so far.
Right. Marlon said, I wish Dr. Terry had told Franco that she was trans. Like, I think, doesn't he already know that? Or maybe he doesn't because he's Drew.
Yeah,
is that what it is?
Yeah, he wouldn't know that because he was Drew. So he'd be like, oh, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Annie Goen said they're going to have to reserve a permanent room at Shady Brook for Kim when Franco comes back and old Drew is gone. Yeah, they're gonna take her off to the funny farm for sure.
But it's
and,
like,
let's talk a little bit more about your favorite location, the park. So also in the park we have another little, and I couldn't understand whether this was a dream sequence or whether this was real. When Hayden runs into Finn in the park while she's playing with Aiden, was part of that real and part of it like a dream sequence? I was confused.
Her running into Finn was real, but the confession part is when it jumped over into that. And I admit, I was so jazzed.
Were you confused too?
I was so jazzed with that scene at first, where he's like, she finally just lays it out. I'm like, all right, cool. And it's the most interesting thing that could happen in that moment, because now we get to finally see what happens next. And instead, we just go to a commercial break, and we come back and we find out it was just a fantasy she was having in her mind, and Elizabeth interrupts her. And now all it is like, now she's telling Jax, Finn can never know that he has a child. Like, oh man, we're going down this route again? Come on.
I mean, but they've been leading up to that for weeks. All them little secret phone calls she would have with the kid and all that. I'm like, I'm just gonna need for whoever this kid is to show his face so that we can see what time it is, because that's getting on my nerves too. I'm like, I'm gonna just need y'all not to have so many secrets all the time. And the other park scene that had me dying laughing was the park scene with the shady trainer Kendra. When she rolls up with Alexis and Christina, and this made me laugh about when Christina was like, haven't I met you before? You look so familiar. Yes, boo. You met her at Dawn of Day. Like, really? You can't remember that? Is your memory that fuzzy on Dawn of Day that you don't remember who was up and through there?
Well, I mean, wasn't that she was from Dawn of Day, or that she was her ex's family member that Alexis ran down? I think that's maybe where she might remember her from.
I think she's a Dawn of Day chick myself. I think it's coupled. I think part of it is Dawn of Day stuff, and I think part of it is the family connection too. I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, because I mean, I know she's got that little photo of her and whatever the guy's name is that Alexis ran over and killed. So it looks like, now Alexis is out for revenge.
You're so shady.
I mean, that's what she did. She ran down the guy for treating Christina like crud. So she runs him down, but it's supposedly an accident. And now that's sister or cousin or whatever the relation is now back to get some vengeance. And I kept on waiting to see where it turns in, and I'm waiting for this protein powder that she's giving her. Is that going to be spiked with something?
Wait. Did you peep that when she gave her the protein powder that she didn't drink it? Like, she put it up to her mouth like she was drinking it, but she didn't really drink it?
Yep. Oh, of course, yeah.
I was like, I was like, really though, is that what we gonna do right now? Get out of here with that.
So I don't know if it's poison or if she's drugging her somehow, that she's gonna get her like hooked on some sort of, I don't know what her plan is, to get her hooked on drugs or make her fail a drug screening test, or I don't know what that plan is, because I feel like
go ahead.
She's really laying heavy into her drinking this concoction, and it's all what is like, Italian ingredients or whatever. So Alexis looks it all up and sees that it's on the up and up. But I'm like, really? Because it doesn't look. I wouldn't trust that.
Right. That's what I was like. I was like, really though, y'all. And then Marlon's like poison protein powder. I'm like, I know. Like, is she gonna is something in that protein powder that's gonna really jack Alexis up? And okay, and let's just talk about that scene for one hot second, one more time. So there was a moment where and I'm being shady. I'm being really petty right now, as JLJ would say, Shady Sunday. So I'm gonna be Shady Sunday right now. There was a moment where the camera angle was on top of Alexis's head, where it was like she had this big old giant bald spot. I'm like, can y'all not cover up homegirl's hair a little better than that? It was like the size of a tennis ball. What is happening? I'm gonna need y'all to do my sister a little better. I like Alexis. I could not concentrate on what was coming out of her mouth, looking at that big old bald spot on the top of her head. And it wasn't a bald spot, it was just the way they parted her hair. But the camera was right on top of her head. I'm like, come on now, y'all. So that was my Shady Sunday moment, because I was like, what is happening? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I guess this makes sense now for why Christina did the pledge, and now we're seeing the ramifications of it. But man, I'm not interested in this storyline, as opposed to I wanted to see more Cassadine drama. So the idea of Molly researching more about the Cassadines, I would love to see that, get Alexis involved in that, as opposed to this weirdo trainer who's trying to get Alexis by making her drink protein powder. Ugh. All right.
Yeah. What I really wanted to see more of was my boy Ted Knight.
Look at that.
I mean, Michael Knight.
Michael E. Knight coming in.
Michael Knight, Pad to Cad from All My Children, showing up as Mr. Gray. I was all about that.
Yeah, I mean, we still don't know. I mean, off that brief appearance, it's hard to figure out what his objectives are, what his agenda is. But I mean, much like you, excited to see him for sure.
Oh, and this is the thing. When he was on All My Children, he was so he wasn't devilish. He didn't have like this devilish thing going on. He was more like he was more mischievous than he was devilish or deviant on All My Children, right?
Yeah.
On this one, he's a straight up devilish and deviant and acerbic too. Because when Nell is sitting there pleading her case, he's looking at her like, that BS might work with some people, but that ain't working with me today.
Well, what I like about
I laughed out loud because he was sitting there being all like, I am a model prisoner, and he's like, oh yeah, the warden was singing your praises, and she was like, really? He said, but not really.
Yeah. What I like about Michael E. Knight, though, is that I always felt like what I liked about his performance, especially as Tad Martin, is that he always injected a sense of humor into it. So you could find a funny way in and out of a scene, and sometimes I feel like that's missing on soaps. And I always love that he would be able to inject that in, because it's like, yeah, I mean, in real life, it's not always high stakes. It's not always drama. There can be moments of levity in your day-to-day life. So it's to have him on Port Charles or in General Hospital. I'm looking forward to seeing him inject more of that into the show.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm like, General Hospital then just fluffed up fivefold for me. I'm very excited about all of this. Because I was like, what are they going to do? How are they going to, get beyond this? Because I felt like they were in a stalemate for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm really interested to know what Martin Gray's deal is. Like, what's his deal? Like, how did Nell find him? And who is this other person who had a case that was similar but not similar to hers that he got her off? You know what I mean?
No, that's true. I feel like those are things that we're gonna learn about. I will tell you the one thing, as we're talking about Nell, that I'm getting tired of is, and it's happened a few times because it happened with Shiloh and Brad inside Charlie's pub, and it happened this time with Nell and Jocelyn in the park, where once somebody runs into somebody they really don't want to talk to at all, yet they still stand there and talk to that person. I'm like, in real life, you would just say, no thanks, I gotta go, and just walk out.
Right?
But Jocelyn just stands there in the park talking to Nell.
You'd be like, oh, somebody's calling me. Oh, look at the time. I got to bounce. But it was good seeing you.
Yeah. Like, who's standing there listening to this? I mean, I'm glad that Jocelyn finally got fed up enough at the end that she called over the guard and said, oh, no, this lady's bothering me, and got her away from her. But it's like, man, that took forever to get to that point.
Yeah, it was like, and then I love how she was like, guard, this prisoner is upsetting me.
Yeah.
How about you should have never let her talk to her in the first place? How about that?
Yeah, it's just like, I don't understand. Like, any prison guard is going to let one of the convicts that are doing, even if they're on good behavior, so they get letter kind of duties and stuff to go out and do landscaping and stuff, that they're just going to let them walk away and talk to just a regular person. Who's going to do that? Like,
nobody.
No prison guard is going to let them just go.
Do that? Like, what in what prison reality is a guard going to let a prisoner talk to a civilian just because?
No.
Out of here with that.
I know her. It's okay, right? No. You're in prison.
You are not at Starbucks, honey. That makes me laugh. I laugh out. I'm like, are they at Starbucks? Is there a Starbucks where you wear an orange jumpsuit? I'm like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
No. Yeah, you just stay here and just, put some plants in that soil. Get out of here. What are you talking about? We also see... We see another visit, and that is Willow visiting her mom in Pentonville to break the news that Shiloh is dead. What a shame.
Yes, that was a very lackluster scene, I have to say.
Yeah,
it went on a little too long.
And
Don't
now,
you think?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, now what? Because I feel like this could be the last we see of Harmony then.
I don't know if it's going to be the last we see of Harmony. I wouldn't say that, but yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I don't think Harmony's story is done on GH.
I mean, I could definitely see whenever Willow finds the truth out about Wiley and that it's not really her son and her son's really dead, that there could be another scene where she tells her mom that's what the real deal is. So I could see at least maybe one more scene with Harmony.
Yeah, Harmony's kind of grown on me. And I remember when she first showed up on the scene, I was like, ooh, I cannot with her. But she's actually kind of grown on me, especially since she rolled over on Shiloh.
Yeah.
So I would love to see. I think she really kind of needs to be there for when Willow finds out the truth. Like, Willow needs somebody to be there other than Chase or Michael. Like, she needs her mom to kind of be there. Well, so I'm hoping that she has the opportunity to actually make that happen. Oh, but this made me laugh too. Aside from the Pattonville visit, this had me laughing out loud. We talk about Elizabeth a lot, right? Mm-hmm. Elizabeth Franco, Elizabeth Jason, Elizabeth whoever, right? But what I don't think we have addressed that much as of late is the fact that most of the time they make Elizabeth appear very angelic, very, by the book, very, do-gooder-ish. And lately, my girl has been turning up. She had Franco committed and was like, his ass is not leaving poor Charles if I got anything to do with it. And then she rolled up in Charlie's and told Julian that he needed to help her. And when he said no, she was like, look, you are no stranger to getting your hands dirty. Don't try to act like you're not. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I was like, Elizabeth is flexing her biceps. What is happening?
That's right. She knows what the score is, and now she's calling people out saying, hey, come on, you thug. Go over there, and you got to help me get my guy taken care of. Yeah, I mean, I guess what you realize the extremes that you're willing to go to when something you care about is on the line, or someone.
Yeah, I mean, I get why she's behaving the way she is, but I'm just saying that for this particular character, as many years as she's been on General Hospital, you've never seen her behave that way. Not when she was involved with Jason, not when she was involved with Drew, not with anybody else. Like, this is the first time you've really seen, not even when she had all those situations and dramaturgs with Lucky.
Mm-hmm.
That was major drama with Lucky all the time. She never went in like she's going in for Franco.
Yeah, there's something about that connection that she is willing to bend the rules or do whatever she needs to try to get Franco back to her at all. I mean, I guess you look back
in the chat room. In the chat room, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no.
In the chat room, they're saying they could see Elizabeth hooking up with Julian. Ooh, how do we feel about that?
What? Come on, no, get out of here. I don't think Elizabeth is hooking up with anybody.
Look, Kelly Public Cover was like, I can see Elizabeth with Julian. And then Lori Cole was like, yes, Kelly girl, I agree.
I don't think Elizabeth's going to be doing anything anytime soon, not until this Franco thing gets solved. But, I mean, the longer this goes on, I know many people are getting tired of this storyline, but would you rather see Franco back, or would you rather see Elizabeth just having to deal with the fact that, no, Franco is really now Drew?
I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued by this storyline. I really want to see how they're going to play it out. Like, I'm hoping it's not going to play out in the obvious way that we think. I'm hoping it's going to have a really nice twist that'll give us something to talk about.
Yeah, it's, there's also part of me that's like, well, what if Franco doesn't come back in and it is now just Drew? Is there a part of Drew that could move away from Kim and actually fall in love with Elizabeth as well? So, but
that's what I'm saying. This could be really interesting. Like, however, that suggestion that you made, like, that's a really good suggestion. That all of those things could be really interesting to see how it all kind of, plays out.
Yeah, I feel like the least interesting version for me is of Franco just coming back and everything's okay. I feel like that's the least interesting version of the story for me. I need some drama and intrigue, General Hospital. Well, speaking of drama and intrigue, we do have your boy and girl, Nina and Valentine, getting married, so they got to do their bridal showers, a bachelor party and bachelorette party the night before.
Oh my God! And that was like snooze time. Oh God, I couldn't take it.
Compared to what they had for Curtis and Jordan when they did that the mystery room, the escape room.
Yeah,
I was like, that is all right.
Like, that was kind of exciting.
Yeah,
but this, like, the guys up in the bar and the women at the house on the sofa. I'm like, really? Y'all couldn't think of something better than that?
This was, and then we have to see the awkward scene of them going to the spa for Nina to walk in and try to kick Chase and Willow out of it. Like, no, this is for my bachelorette party. You got to get out. So, Carla, I will ask you.
I was just like, but what about the look? Every time the camera cut to Sasha's face, I was like, is she gonna break?
Oh yeah.
Is she going to break any moment now?
She can't keep it together. Carla, I would ask you, put yourself in Willow's shoes, and somebody that you've been butting heads with comes in to the spot that you're hanging out with your boy toy and says, hey, wait, this is for my bachelorette party. You got to get out. Are you getting out, or are you standing up and saying, get out of here yourself?
I would be like, no, you need to go. Like, this is my party. Where are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here. I reserved this as well too. So why am I leaving for you? No way. So
yeah, I'm not leaving my own party. Like, you rolled up in here. I didn't roll up in. Get out of here with that.
Well, especially when Maxie or what Maxie or Nina throw out, like, bachelorette party trumps that. And I would think, I'm waiting for Willow to say, put yourself in my position. If this was either one of you with your man and somebody came in, are you turning it over? I know none of you are saying, all right, I'll leave. I'll leave. You're right. None of you are. Get out of here. There's no way Max is going to just sit there and go, yeah, you're right. I'll leave. It's yours. No. So.
Ooh, you were making my stomach hurt with laughter today, Frank Moran. I love you for it.
So that felt false to me, but they end up where they end up with the floating rib because it's all a big rainstorm, so they can't go golfing for the guys, and the party bus gets a flat tire for the girls, so they all end up with a floating rib, and which Chet, our boy Chet, is there to introduce karaoke night. And what I loved about it is that we only hear one song at that karaoke night. That is Valentine. And then it gets to the end of the episode, and when we cut back to the next day's episode, which is just picking up right up there, nobody else is singing. That was it. It was just Valentine, and then nobody else.
That was funny. That was pure comedy. I'm like, really, though? It's called karaoke. Like, you got a whole bar full of people. Ain't nobody going to do karaoke except for Valentine. And of all the people, Valentine? Really?
That was it. And then nobody else sang it. It was just people just talking for the rest of the night. Like, that was it. Nobody else wanted to get up and sing? Nobody did? Get out of here. What did you think of Valentine's song?
I have no words.
I mean, James Patrick Stewart, he held a good tune, though.
I have no words. I have no words. I was just like, the whole situation just exhausted me. I was looking at the screen like,
I will give Best Overacting to Finding Out a Piece of Information award to Lulu Spencer when she's in the bathroom and hears Obrecht and Sasha talking and finds out that they've been faking Sasha's relationship to Nina. And the camera moves from Obrecht and Sasha, pans over to the stall that's kind of partway open, and you just get to see Lulu just going, huh?
But are we surprised by that, though? Are we surprised by that? She always overacts. Like, come on, think about it. Think about all those times before she got the divorce papers from Dante. Think about how many times she one scene in particular, the one where she was supposed to be drunk and Peter came over there and she was supposed to be going off on Peter. I was like, girl, please.
Yeah, it's but it does bring up an interesting point. She does find out about this and she wants to tell Nina, but the dilemma is, does the truth more important to somebody, or does the person that needs to hear that truth, what if they don't want to hear that truth? What do you do anyway? Do you tell it or do you stay quiet? What would you do, Carla?
Please, Lulu can't hold water, so eventually she gonna run her mouth.
Yeah.
She can't hold water. There's no way on God's green earth that Lulu is gonna be able to keep that information to herself. She just can't do it. She's not capable. The Lord's leech says, "Loose lips, Lulu strikes again."
It's only a matter. I mean, the fact that she confided in Dustin, and Dustin seems like, as we've seen so far, seems like a nice guy, but we all kind of feel like there's some kind of shady thing that he's hiding.
Jury's still out on him. And
so to reveal this really important piece of information to somebody, I guess they did sleep on the Haunted Star, so I mean, that forgives all. You can share your most innermost secrets to somebody you've kind of hopped in the sack with. But I don't know if Dustin is going to be that trustworthy person that Lulu thinks he is.
Yeah, I don't think so. I told you, I think there's something very shady about him.
And I'm waiting to see when the other shoe drops on him. But he's in the main credits now, so I feel like he's going to be sticking around for a bit, which is cool.
Well, I still think he's shady. Whether he in the credits or not, he is shady boots. I'm like, what's your deal? I need to know.
One other thing I liked about the bachelor party, though, is the scene between Valentine and Michael, where, without saying it directly, Michael does realize that Valentine knows that he knows what's really going on. And when Michael threatens him, kind of that veiled threat, like if anybody were to, hurt Nina by exposing something like this, I would, make sure that they pay. And and Michael's like, yeah, I learned that in my family, that family is more important than anything, and we make sure that we take care of our own too. So I did like that. Yeah, Valentine, you can't really threaten a Corinthos with threats of violence. That's not really going to hold.
Oh, please, that's not going to stop him. They have a really good question. Kelly's like, not Kelly, Annie's like, do we think that Valentine would do something to Lulu, the mother of his child, if he finds out that she knows his secret? Right, that's a good question, right?
That is, I mean, he got rid of Charlotte. So, Claudette. He got rid of Claudette. So.
Oh, you got him killing his own kid.
Yep, got rid of Charlotte. Whoops. I got rid of Claudette. So, Carla Renata, the time has flown by.
What?
We got to get out of here.
It really did. I'm so glad I was able to call in. I kind of like this. We have to do this more often.
Absolutely.
When I'm out of town.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your super busy, burgeoning media empire to take the time to call, us here on the GH Report.
Well, Frank, I couldn't leave you lurking by yourself. I couldn't leave you there floundering. Although you hold it down by yourself. You're more than capable, but,
You're
I can help a brother out. I'm going to help a brother out.
You are too kind. So, Carla, what if they want to find out what you're doing there in Chicago, they want to follow all the latest adventures you're having there in the Windy City, where's the best place to find you?
Well, while we were broadcasting this, I premiered The Curvy Critic with Carla Renata over Black Hollywood Live, so you can pop over there to see what I'm talking about while I'm in Chicago. Next week, the interviews and stuff will be up that I did here for Chicago PD, Chicago Med, and Chicago Fire for AfterBuzz TV. And on Monday nights, you can find me at the Dancing with the Stars after show, not this Monday, but the next Monday, where we're talking about all things ballroom there at AfterBuzz TV. And you can find my reviews across also at thecurvyfilmcritic.com, and you can find me on social media across all platforms at The Curvy Critic.
And you are going to be live streaming your tattoo session, correct? Getting the Chicago series logos?
You know good and well, I'm not getting no tattoo. I'm needle phobic. Ain't no needle. And I've said this to you many times. I am needle phobic. As I get older, I would just be looking like an old raisin because ain't no needles coming nowhere near this face. So no, I'm not getting no tattoo.
All right. Folks, thanks for joining us here on the GH Report. Big shout out to Carla Renata calling us even when she's so busy there in Chicago, blowing things up over there. Follow her on all her social media handles right there. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. Thanks for joining us there. Like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. And folks, we'll see you back here next Sunday for an all-new episode of the GH Report right here on AfterBuzz TV. See you, everybody. Bye, Carla.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.